What if one of the most powerful religious ideas in history wasn't born where almost everyone thinks? And what if the struggle between good and evil, judgment after death, heaven and hell, had already been thought of many centuries earlier? Today, we're going to dive into the religion and culture of a dazzling empire to discover just how much some beliefs that now seem irreconcilable were actually born from surprisingly similar questions.
The Persian Empire, Part 2. Thus taught Zoroaster. Many, many years ago, while the Persians were still living in high mountain valleys, an old shepherd saw a solitary man descending a hill one morning.
I think I recognize that person. A few years ago, a young man passed by here. His name was Zoroaster. But if this is the same man, he looks a lot different.
I have been living in a cave for 10 years. The solitude has helped me to reflect, and now I am full of wisdom, and I need to tell people of all the things I have learned.
And so it was that Zoroaster became a great prophet. He taught people to think and see the world in a new way. For him, there were not many gods, but only one, a unique, magnificent, and creative force, and that force is called Ahura Mazda. Zoroaster taught that the sun reigns with its light during the day, blessing the world with its energy. But as sunset arrives, it hides away, thus allowing darkness to control the night. This duality of light for day and darkness for night was created by the supreme god Ahura Mazda and extended to all aspects of life. This meant that good and evil were always present in the world, and that you could not have one without the other. Zoroaster taught that all human beings had free will, and that everyone should choose to constantly fight for good against evil, and that everyone would be judged after their deaths. If they had fought for the forces of good, they would go to heaven. If not, then to hell.
Take a second to think about this. A single God, the struggle between good and evil, judgment after death, heaven and hell. Does that sound familiar to you? Tell me in the comments, what other religions do you think these ideas have in common?
This idea of a heaven and a hell arose from the idea of duality that Zoroaster taught to the Persians 6 centuries before Jesus would once again spread it amongst his followers.
The most interesting thing about this idea is that, for the Persians, human beings weren't doomed from the start. They were free to choose. What do you think? Does good and evil live inside each person, or does it depend on the world around them? And just to be clear, this doesn't mean that all religions are the same. But it does show something fascinating, that human beings, even if they belong to different peoples, often ask themselves very similar questions about life, death, and the meaning of good and evil.
Cyrus the Great may have begun the Persian Empire, but it was Darius who led the empire to its period of greatest splendor. Darius was nicknamed the King of Kings and thought that his empire deserved to be governed from a brilliant, new, and wondrous city. At that time, the ancient cities of Mesopotamia were already over 1,000 years old. That's very old indeed. Darius thought none of them were worthy of the vast and modern empire the Persians had managed to create. On a giant plateau around the year 520 BC, Darius ordered the construction of a brand new and magnificent city, the likes of which had never been seen before. And it was called the City of the Persians, or Persepolis. This beautiful royal city had something special about it. For most of the year, it remained uninhabited. That's right! Persepolis was inhabited only during special ceremonies, like the New Year ceremonies held for the spring equinox. During this festival, ambassadors from throughout the empire presented their offerings to the king in a huge reception hall, measuring over 12,000 square meters.
That's as big as 23 gyms. The hall was supported by 72 enormous columns, rising 20 meters in height.
A gigantic ceremonial city, ambassadors from across the empire, gold, ivory, lapis lazuli, cedars from Lebanon. If all this is blowing your mind, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Tell me, if you could visit just one city from the ancient world, would you choose Babylon, Persepolis, or Egypt? But Persian splendor wouldn't last without challenges, because while Persepolis shone as the capital of a vast empire, to the west, another world was beginning to grow, smaller, more fragmented, but ready to resist. Very soon, Persians and Greeks would face off in a struggle that would change history. And remember, everything is amazing when you have the desire to learn.